The Federation is a network. It's a network of 172 diocesan offices of youth ministry and 60 collaborating members whose ministry touches the lives of Catholic teenagers. The Federation offers networking, it offers leadership development, training and resourcing, conferences for the development of youth ministry in the United States. And the Federation has as a primary task to be an advocate for a comprehensive vision of youth ministry and as well to be an advocate for the profession and the practice of the youth ministry leader. And so it's from the vantage point as executive director with both a degree of humility and arrogance that I'd like to identify what I think are some of the critical shifts in our ministry, and then as well, what are some of the challenges that come with those shifts. I think the first shift is an underlying shift of focus. The 1976 document, Vision of Youth Ministry, used the Emmaus passage in the Gospel of Luke as kind of a paradigm for youth ministry. And the image proposed that what we do is walk with our young people along their personal and their faith journeys. But the 1997 document, Renewing the Vision, took that image a step further and it introduced the concept of the call to discipleship. So no longer were we just accompanying our young people, but now we were calling them to be disciples of Jesus, to be young people of the gospel, called to transform the world. So the movement was from calling them into a sense of community and accompaniment and sending them out to be disciples to change the world. The second shift, flowing from the first, is a shift in methodology. Youth ministry no longer can rely on a youth group model as a way of doing comprehensive ministry with the young church. It's become increasingly clear in our world with our young people as we look at the diversity of geographic settings, ethnic and cultural communities, family structures, that a single approach to youth ministry will no longer suffice. We look at the range in our young people of their needs, their interests, their time availability, and even the range of spiritualities, so that it's increasingly clear that a single approach to youth ministry will be ineffective. The third shift is really a shift in emphasis. We are moving from an emphasis on building youth communities, inviting young people in, developing a sense of community among them, to shift from there to an intentional emphasis on evangelization, proclaiming the good news of Jesus, and an emphasis on catechesis, an emphasis on taking that understanding of Jesus' message to take it deeper. And we've come to believe that evangelization and catechesis will always lead towards engagement in the world through justice and service. It's a shift in emphasis. And so finally, as we look at that, then it leads to three challenges in our ministry. And the first is about the role of the youth minister. We need to see ourselves as an advocate for young people. There was a time when we saw our role as almost like a missionary. We were a missionary to youth culture and to the youth world, and we were bringing the gospel message and we were bringing church into young people's lived realities. And although that is especially true even today, I would suggest that now, instead of going to the youth culture, our role is to be an advocate for young people in those arenas where their voice isn't being heard. We have certainly understood our role to call young people to responsible participation in the life, the work, and the mission of the faith community. But increasingly as advocates, we are going to be called for their responsible participation in the larger societal arena. The issues of immigration, health care, education, violence, and war are now their issues. And the voice of youth ministry needs to be heard in those arenas. We need to create those opportunities for the voice of young people to be heard in the arenas that affect their lives. And I would say primary to this role of being an advocate is to remind both the church and society that our young people are a gift to be shared, not a problem to be solved. The second challenge is to intentionally foster an authentic and comprehensive Catholic identity. Our young people certainly need to know what it means to be Catholic, but in addition to knowing what it means in terms of our beliefs and traditions, I think our young people need to know the practices, the actions, the rituals, the signs and the symbols of the Catholic faith. We literally need to minister to our young people's head, heart, and hands, and that will require a catechesis that includes the dimension of religious education, that cognitive dimension, but also that dimension of faith formation, that affective relationship with Jesus, and it will include that behavioral dimension of discipleship, where young people need to live this out. to create an authentic Catholic identity. And I would suggest this, that identity, that Catholic identity of head, heart, and hands needs to be anchored in a spiritual home. Young people need a faith community where their gifts are utilized and accepted, where they have a vibrant role. And that relates to the third challenge. The third challenge looks at parish life. Increasingly, we are learning that weekly Mass attendance is declining. We know that people's connection with parish life is increasingly tenuous. But if we believe that it takes an entire village to raise a child, and if we believe that it takes an entire faith community to foster the faith of young people, we need to attend to the village. I really do believe that parish is still the best vehicle over the lifespan for transmitting and for fostering faith. So we need to attend to parish life. And I would suggest that youth ministry leaders need to bring their gifts to the parish. We have a well-developed theology and methodology for catechesis, for prayer and worship, for social justice, for pastoral care. And we need to bring those skills and gifts to the parish community, literally to renew parish life. And parish life will be most effective when we have vibrant worship that leads to vibrant pastoral ministries. So when we think the big picture, three major shifts in the work that we do: moving from accompaniment to discipleship, moving from youth group to youth groupings, moving from an emphasis on community to an emphasis on evangelization and catechesis. And it leads to three challenges. We are challenged to be the advocates for young people, both in the church and in the societal arena. We are challenged to foster an authentic and comprehensive Catholic identity. We are called to renew parish life. So I welcome you to our great adventure, and may the Lord God deeply bless your ministry to, with, for, and by young people. Thank you.